All right, Payton Thorne joins us now, the Auburn quarterback, with us at this time each week on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Payton? How are you today?
I'm not doing too bad. How about you guys?
Doing great. Thanks a lot. I know it was a tough loss, and you've had several of those this year. I mean, there's no reason to ignore that. But what positives can you take from, even in a loss, what positives can you take from the way your team played Saturday?
Yeah, we talked yesterday when we got all together that, that's not our standard. I said after the game, we're not always looking for silver linings. After a while, you just need to go get it done. But if you do look at the stat sheet, we talked about yesterday, if you just look at that, the average person is going to say, oh, well, that team won the game. And, unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. But so I guess that is a positive you can look at. I think that we improved in a lot of areas, and so just need to keep building on that and keep moving in the right direction.
I am sure the one play that haunts you is the 3rd and 4, the Oklahoma 43, 4:06 to go in the game. What did you see or did not see on that third down?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I talked to people close to me and our coaches and some of my teammates too, and quite honestly, if I had that play over 10 times, I probably would have done the same thing 10 times out of 10. And so, it is frustrating for me, and you look back on it, it sucks. However, I got to give credit to them. They had the perfect call on for what we were doing. It looked like zero across the board to me. We had 5 out. We were an empty. They brought 6 guys up on the line of scrimmage. They had their 2 backers mugged up in the A gaps. And so I had to do something with my protection in order to get protected, because obviously we only have 5 guys. So we had talked about sliding away from the boundary defensive end, and I did that. And then my eyes have to go to the mug back or to the boundary, because our number 2 receiver to the boundary had a choice route. He can go in or out. And so, when I'm looking at that and looking at the leverage over number 2, the man playing over him, I was thinking there's a good chance we're getting an in cut here. So I snapped the ball and I had to slide a little bit because I slid my protection and we're not blocking the boundary end. Well, I looked at, I think it was number 10 was in the boundary A gap, the backer. He took a step forward and put his hands on our guy, and so did the other backer on the snap. And so I thought they were coming. And then since I have a choice route to the boundary, I have to get my eyes on him to see if he's going in or out. I can't just keep my eyes glued in the middle of the field. And then obviously he won inside. He ran a really good route, and I put the ball, I threw it to him. And unfortunately, they executed their call really well, and they bluffed the pressure enough for me to see and think they were coming. And then when I went to find my receiver, I wasn't able to see him drop out. So, like I say, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to swallow. However, I look back on it, and the play clock was running down, so I couldn't switch my 3 receivers to the field to get a quicker route or anything like that. So it was just an unfortunate play, and credit to them for having a good call on and executing it well.
I got a question, but I just want to make a point there that the explanation of the decisions that he had to make went 47 seconds long, and you have to make that decision in 2.6 seconds. When I went back and watched the tape, that's how long the ball's in your hand. It's amazing what you just told me, everything you have to read and decisions you have to make. It takes you 47 seconds to say it, but you have to make that decision in 2.6 seconds. It's amazing, and it's hard when you're watching as a fan you forget sometimes that all that's being thought about in 2.6 seconds. And when you're watching the game at home or maybe in the stadium, you see this. There's interactions between coaches and players. It's competition. Everybody's doing their darn best to try to win the football game. There was one moment during a timeout that it looked like Hugh and Coach Freeze and you were going back and forth a little bit. Can you explain to fans a little bit why that happens, what was being said, and maybe maybe it wasn't as bad as it looked at the moment on television?
Yeah, me and Coach talked about that yesterday, and everything's all good between us. There was just a miscommunication, or just weren't on the same page on the second play with me and our receiver. And then, Coach Freeze was thinking one thing, and I was, thinking the other thing based on the play we had called. And ultimately, we talked about that, and we're good to go on that. They had loaded the box up. I think they had 8 guys in the box on the second down play. And so, an RPO that calls for me to throw the ball. So I was throwing it out there, and like I said before, we're on the same page, I guess, with me and the receiver, which stinks. But
and was coach wanting you to run the ball? Like the perception, I think people that try to read lips are like he wanted you to run the clock. He was disappointed that you threw the ball in the RPO. Is that sort of what the gist of that was?
I think so a little bit. I think there was like 10 minutes left in the game. So we had also talked on the sideline that, we're not really, we want to score again. We're not really we were trying to run some clock, but we were also going to try to score, So with that play call and me executing our offense, the play was to throw that ball with that call. And we talked about, if we want to 100% run the ball, then we'll get into a little bit different call. But me and Coach Freeze on the same page now, and there's no issues between the two of us. Like you said before, two competitors, in the heat of the moment, and so that's going to happen sometimes, and we're both fine, and everything's all good.
Payton Thorne is with us, the Auburn quarterback, on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You've played 5 home games, and I don't mean this as a slight to the fan base. I'm just saying, is there a relief a little bit to go on the road, just change venue a little bit and maybe flush some of that and see what it's like on the road?
I haven't really thought about that. I haven't really thought about a relief feeling or anything. Obviously, it's going to be different playing on the road in a big-time atmosphere like our own place, except now, we're on the road. Georgia, and so it'll be nice to get away and get to experience an away game with this team. We haven't done that yet, and so I'll get to see how we respond on the road in a tough environment, and kind of come together. When you go on the road, sometimes it's that us versus everybody mentality, and especially at a place like this, their fans are going to be rocking and ready to go, I'm sure, and so it'll be a good test for us.
And it was a great game last year. I mean, you guys were locked up in the fourth quarter, and the good news for you guys is they don't have Brock Bowers this year. and I know what he did in that second half. I mean, he was incredible in Jordan-Hare last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously an excellent player. I think he's already killing it in the NFL. I haven't paid too close of attention, but he was a first-round pick, wasn't he? For a reason. Yeah. So he's a really good player, and I know they have really good players again this year. So I know our defensive coaches and players are putting together a good plan, and working this week to stop those guys that they have this year, and put our best foot forward.
Your dad, I don't know how many people, I assume everyone knows this. He's an offensive coach as well, offensive mind. Do you guys have film sessions even during the season? I know you and Coach Freeze as a team do. Do you ever zoom in with him or sit around with him and watch game tape after the games?
Yeah, honestly, I do most of the time, to be really honest with you guys. Obviously, watch film with my coaches, no question. But for me, my whole life, having my dad as an offensive coach, I've been watching film with him since I was 8 years old or something, and just sitting and watching and listening to what he has to say. And so, I trust him greatly, and nothing he ever says goes opposite of what my coaches are saying too. So there's never a conflict of interest or anything like that. So, and he would never do that if there was. And so, it's nice to have a guy like that, and a guy that I truly trust, like I trust my coaches as well. And so, getting to sit down and break things down. He also knows me from my whole life and has seen me play my whole life. So we can draw back on different things that maybe you can't with a normal someone you sit and watch film with.
Did they give the parents a heads up they're going to put them on TV? Because your mom and dad were on TV a lot in the second half of that game. Did they have any idea?
I don't think so. Not that I know of. And I got a few texts about it that they were getting some screen time. So hopefully, they looked all right up there.
Yeah, no, they were fired up. You threw that touchdown pass. It was kind of like the jump pass to the tight end to Dill. You know what I'm saying? That was when they were showing him. So yeah, he was fired up. He liked that play. He was fired up about that play.
It's funny. He actually, when you guys were talking about watching film with them, I had mentioned that play to him throughout the week, and he said, "Man, I really like that one. I think that's got a chance to work." And sure enough, it scored.
He's telling everybody this. I told him that would work.
Yeah,
I told him that would work. Yeah.
Do your in-season goals change at all? I know you guys, and we just heard some sound from your coach saying, "Man, we could be 5-0 at this point." I know your expectation out of this homestand was to be 5-0, but now that you guys are 2-3 internally, do you Like, is there a goal that has changed now?
Obviously, your goals are going to change throughout the year for the most part for most teams across the country. And so, right now it's a week-to-week thing. I've talked to our guys about playing kind of with a desperation to us, not necessarily in fear. I think there's two different types of desperation, but just extreme urgency and playing for our life, playing like our football life is on the line right now. And, I thought that we did that last week, like we talked about earlier. I thought we played hard, thought that we did a lot of really good things, and unfortunately, just couldn't come out on top. So that doesn't change this week. Coming in and attacking each and every day and holding on to that rope and making sure that we're all moving in the same direction together. And I think there's no question we're going to do that.
All right, Payton, good luck at Georgia, man. We appreciate the time. We'll talk with you about it next week.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, buddy. Take care. Payton Thorne with us, the Auburn quarterback. You see everything about Auburn, thebarnauburn.com. Join for $1 at thebarnauburn.com. Enjoy the message boards. A lot of great original content there with Village Vice, Zach and Brad and Kyle and the gang there. They do a tremendous job. Thebarnauburn.com. Join for $1 at thebarnauburn.com.